What's going on, everybody? Happy Monday. I know, it's a little late, but it is what it is. Look, the strike is still going on. There are certain things that you can talk about, certain things you can't. Who the hell knows? No one really knows. No one really knows, to be honest with you. And there's some things that we're going to talk about throughout the week when Roxy and Brett and Mike and Steph and Winston and Coy are all on. But today, as you saw, I got Ellis on, man, and we are fascinated with the UFOs. We are fascinated with them. And comedy, UFO and comedies. Comedies? Sure, comedies in general. But Mark Ellis has a big show already coming out today, but he's also doing a big show in San Diego. But we're talking about UFO and comedies today. That's all we're talking about. I'm fascinated with this UFO stuff, guys. Like, you have no idea. Like, I always was, but we're going to kind of get into depth with it. I'm watching this series on it's what is it? I think it originally was on Vice, and then it was on Disney Plus through National Geographic or whatever it was. I sent it to Ellis, and luckily enough, he didn't watch it. So but we're going to talk about it anyway. So that's what you're going to get today. So enjoy it. And we're going to talk about that, and I think that's all you're going to want us to talk about when I tell you all this crazy shit that I heard. It's nuts. It's nuts. So let's get into it. It's myself. It's Mark Ellis. It's the big thing on Monday. All right, here we go. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. It is the big thing with me and this guy. What's up, man?
That music sounds familiar.
It does. It's like the upgraded AI version of.
Don't say that. AI is bad for people.
Right. Well, yeah, it is. I think you're right. When it comes to
just watch any movie in the history of films, AI never works out. It always seems like a good idea in the first act, and then it ends up we have to get every human on Earth together, united to fight them.
We need Bill Pullman. Do you know why I'm?
Those are aliens. We're getting to that later.
Yeah, I know, but you know why with AI though that they got me on the? Oh, okay, I guess I understand. Because I think AI is going to wind up wiping us all out in the next 100, 200, 300 years, whatever it is. But it's the disease stuff.
The disease stuff.
It's the advancements in medicine that AI will be able to accomplish with algorithms and ideas and thoughts of medicine and things that it can do.
But I don't know that they're putting doctors out of work. The way that they are, the way that the studios want them to put writers and actors out of work.
That very different thing.
I don't know that I would still go see a robot doctor, even if I knew the medicine was better. I kind of want a human being.
But you would, but if you had some kind of disease and then you were like, well, there was an AI program that actually helped us find the medicine to cure it, you're not going to say, don't give that to me.
I would say, thank you. Please don't come back from the future to murder me and my entire family.
That's where it comes down to. But anyway, I got Mark Ellis here, man. We're excited to talk shop, and it's funny because I was finally going to do stand up with you again, and in San Diego. Let's talk about it because he's got he's got his show coming up this Thursday.
Look at that bright boy,
July 20th. I like that poster. Is that a Brian Ward special?
That's a Brian Ward special, and the picture is a Van Corona from the special that is now out. So
yeah, and I put that link in the description for the special. You can find that now.
Go on YouTube, comment, share it. A comment really helps. Because you don't know who's out there on YouTube who's going to say something mean.
True.
So comment. Say something nice.
The link for the special is actually in the description of this video.
Alive and well.
Yeah, so you do that and you can go and check that out. How'd the stream go?
I am one of those things, alive and well.
Yeah,
I'm alive. Dude, the shoulder. This shoulder.
Were you throwing anything at a tree trying to get a hula hoop out?
No, I was going more advanced workouts than you. I wasn't going. You're kind of like the Rocky, where you just do stuff in the woods and you punch meat. Right. I was doing the Ivan Drago stuff. I was juicing. I was actually using creatine a few weeks ago, and I was getting gains, and I was like, dude, I was lifting in Seattle and I was seeing my family.
Shit now.
So am I, apparently, because I turned 43. Yeah. 2 days later, and I got them up, and I felt great. And then an hour later, it still hasn't gone away. I got a massage, still hasn't gone away. Biofreeze on it. I think I have a rotator cuff issue in my family history. Yeah. My dad always had a bad one, and I thought it was just because he'd be driving on the road trip and trying to hit us kids, and that's how he threw his rotator cuff out. It might just be a genetic thing.
Nah, it's an old thing. You remember a kickboxer
I remember kickboxer
when he fights Tong Po for the majority of it. He's getting his he's just a bloody mess.
Yeah.
That was me after the tree. My hands were all scraped up. I had like sap all over myself. It was.
Have you been back?
No, not since the epic.
You can't even look at the tree right now.
I want to go back. I always want to take people with me, so people know know that it's real.
I hope that you move somewhere out of California, or at least out of this area soon.
Because it'll kill me, the tree?
It's going to kill everybody that you love, because you are going to be that dad who like drives them by. I ever tell you kids a story about the tree? Yes, Dad. It's not that exciting. It's funny. It's not that thrilling.
Do you understand who wants me to get that thing out of the tree soon?
One of your kids?
No. Think about this. Who do you think really wants me to get that out of the tree more than anyone else?
Your wife.
No.
It's not me.
It's an easy answer if you think about it. Once I tell you the answer, you're going to go, yeah, it makes sense.
Okay, who wants you to get that thing out of the tree?
Yes, because...
Our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
Brett Sheridan. Because he knows that if I don't get it, I'm going to start asking him to bring props and ladders and stuff.
Yeah, well, he would be the guy, his handyman skills,
That's what I'm saying. He knows that he's going to get that phone call.
Mm-hmm.
If I can't get that thing out of the next one, he's getting that phone call.
God,
he
how
gets the phone call
long
when the OBS goes out.
Before the residents in that area wake up to the sound of a chainsaw at 3 a.m. There's a naked guy covered in honey trying to chop the tree down.
Shaking on the fucking tree for like trying to get it, and I got a lot of stuff out. It was a battle, but nonetheless, you got the special coming up. How did the stream go?
Stream went great on my birthday. It was an awesome kind of weekend thing. I think. I guess it's my fault because the messaging was a little confused. I think a lot of people thought I was taping a special at the Comedy Store that night.
Right.
And I'm like,
did people show up?
No, no, because I had to talk a lot of people off the ledge. I'm like, no, this is not a thing you show up to. So like all the messaging that week was, hey, here's more pictures from the special that I already taped. And it's people are so nice. I appreciate each and every one of you. I had so many people wishing me good luck. And I'm like, I don't know if you're talking about just they hope that the live stream goes well.
Right, or they think you're doing another show.
I'm like, no, because the pictures I'm posting are from the show.
Right.
It already went well. We had 2 great shows. You're in for a good ride.
Well, it's also like when a lot of people, they want to wish well, but they figure they're going to find out news when it get posted that day, right? Like I can't tell you how many times I realize it's someone's birthday because I see someone else tweet about it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's what I mean. So
I'm not a birthday guy. Like, I don't track my own birthday. I don't track other people's birthday. But if I see, there's like maybe 5 birthdays outside of my family that I actually know.
Yeah.
You being one of them. But I still get yours. Yours is October 1st.
Right.
But half the time I think it's November 1st.
Right. And I don't really take any, I'm not upset at that at all because I think there's 2 reasons. You and I have had this conversation many times. I don't think we should celebrate our birthdays in the first place. I think for our birthdays, our parents, our mothers should be the one. That should be Mother's Day. Mother's Day is your Mother's Day is my birthday.
I like where you're going.
So my mother would have 3 Mother's Day, or I guess 2 because my brothers were twins. So so it's like so Mother's Day, and it's because the mothers are doing the work.
They went through the hard stuff.
100%.
Dad was there holding us. I don't know. Back when you were born, it was probably dads at the bar across the street. Like or having cigars with the boys.
Whatever it was.
That's how they used to do it.
We didn't do shit. We didn't do shit.
It's only recently. It's since the dawn of the personal recording device, like a camcorder, that Dad has actually gotten into the room because he's a sicko and wants to film the actual birth. Before then, like the tradition was, you'd have Mom and maybe like a midwife and like the doctors and nurses.
Is he here yet?
Yeah, they're just puffing on stogies, watching the game, having a drink.
Hold on. Everyone's alive. But I'll tell you though, the thing is that
Ralph, now you got to take your shirt off and hold the baby when you're both naked so that you have skin contact. What the hell? I'm not doing that with my kid.
But even that, then that's your Father's Day. Okay, your Father's Day is to celebrate, the day that you. Okay, today is going to be your Father's Day, and but Mom gets my birthday. You can give her a separate day, and that's just because you helped Mom out if she approves it. If Mom approves it, because these people that do the 3-day birthday thing, the weekend. Oh, it's my birthday. I did. Look what I did. I'm going to. You didn't send me a gift on my birthday. It's like you didn't do shit.
Not for me.
You didn't do shit.
Nope. Yeah.
No, I will say you have never once done that thing where, hey, look, I got this big. It's like you'll say thank you, and that's it. But like, have you ever heard, as long as you know me, but like, hey guys, it's my birthday today. There are people who do that, and they'll give it, but even if they don't do it on the they'll like. yeah, tomorrow coming up, I got my birthday.
Oh, they try to plant that guilt seed in you. Yeah,
right. And
I mean, I hated promoting this thing as much as I did because it was like, hey, it's my birthday. If you want to do something nice,
but you used it as a marketing tool.
Yeah,
you used it as a marketing.
Never going to happen again. I might record a live special on my birthday. I'm not ruling out doing something on my birthday because I usually end up doing stand up on my birthday night anyway because it's just another day of the calendar.
Right.
But yeah, the birthday weeks. I can't tell you as a single fella when I'm looking through Instagram. Not that most of these women would be interested in me, but when I follow people and I see how you look at their stories and it's like another night and it's another. We're celebrating Kirsten's birthday. We're celebrating Brittany's birthday. I'm like, I can't keep up with you. I can now. If you want to go out and celebrate your friends' birthdays, have at it. I'll be home with the dog, having beers, watching American Gladiators documentaries.
That's good. Yeah.
They're both great. It's American Gladiator.
Yeah.
But and then me and Molly may be setting up some Gladiator things that we can do, the two of us.
Sure.
But I don't want to go with you. I don't want to go to the celebration with you.
And I don't want to feel guilty if I don't.
No, and we have a mutual friend who had a birthday party, great 40th birthday party, and a lot of people went, and so I went. I went too, didn't I? You did later than me. And maybe you're expecting to see me there. I got a couple bottles of water. I had to work that night, so I walked around, said hi to folks I know, did a lap, brought a present, and then I was like, okay, now I'm going to go about the rest of my day.
That's what I'll say though on the big events, whether it's the 40,
the milestones,
50, like I get it. I still in general think like it's your birthday. I get why you're doing it. Like it's really basically saying I made it. That's really I'm still here.
Yeah, you did it.
That's what you're doing.
You got another ring on the tree.
Yeah, and it's like, and plus the fact that everyone else doing it, well, I'm going to do it too, and I'm going to have a party for everyone else to kind of celebrate. Because this particular one you're talking about, that
it was a milestone birthday.
Milestone plus that person just likes to watch everyone else have fun.
Unlike us,
right? And so like I don't.
Why are you kids having so much fun?
Why are you celebrating your birthday? I don't get it. Anyway, but it's good. You had the stream. It was good.
Had the stream, and then that was the initial kind of like, you really want to see this thing. Yeah. Here you go before anybody else, and now it's available on YouTube for everybody at All Things Comedy. Came out Monday. I don't know if this is coming out later today or tomorrow. Good. Then the link's in the description, and again, you watch, you share, comment, like, all that good stuff really helps the numbers. I don't know how algorithms work. I don't know how YouTube works. When I meet a lot of you at conventions, you say, I remember you from YouTube. Where you been? Right. I'm like, I've been doing stand-up. Now it's on YouTube, so you can come back to the same place that you used to love me at.
Dude, I was at the episode. I was at the taping of it, and it was really, really fun.
Which show were you at? I was the classic comedian question.
I was at the early one.
Okay, all right.
I was at the early one.
Oh, right. You and Roxy had the fight about which was the cool kids show.
Right. And
I'm not getting into it, by the way.
It doesn't matter.
I'm not wading into the waters.
Even if the cool kids show was number 2, I'm still at number 1.
Yeah. But it was my birthday. But you didn't come. It was my birthday.
It's my birthday.
God, imagine being heartbroken somebody didn't show up for your birthday. My mom could not call me on my birthday, and I'd be like, "Yeah, I'll talk to her on Sunday." Like it's fine.
People have forgotten. And Father's Day I know it's a different thing too. But like my family, I told you, my family went away for Father's Day. They were in Idaho, and my wife was like, she felt so bad about it. I'm like, it's fine.
Yeah.
I'm good.
The only guilt I ever feel is when somebody wishes me a happy birthday when I know that their birthday is right around mine.
Right.
And I like the immediacy. So the 3 people I make sure to wish happy birthday to, Jacqueline Coley, who's I think the 5th, Steve Simone is the 8th, I believe, and Streyer's the 13th. Okay. So I know these birthdays only because I know they're wishing me a happy birthday, and you got to reciprocate.
Same team. Yeah. I get it. Look, I always... Never once do someone says happy birthday and I go fuck you. I just I go thank you so much, I appreciate it, but I'm never sniffing it out. You
know what a great day to celebrate other people is? For me is Christmas Day or Christmas Eve. I don't tweet you on your birthday because I don't do that. Right. We don't do that in this family. I mention you on Christmas Day.
You do?
Yeah.
Why is that?
I don't know. For the last 4 years, I'm just like, hey, I hope Kristian's having a merry, and you don't even open social media.
And I don't even notice,
and I don't care.
Right.
I just have to tell the world that we're not rivals.
Even better. We ain't gonna be rivals after this show. I'll tell you that because I can't wait to talk to you about this stuff. But before I do, I also want to tell you. I know you said you were doing the creatine and all that, but have you been trying the AG1, the Athletic Greens?
Yes.
It is fantastic.
Every day.
I'm gonna tell you
every morning.
It is next level stuff. Let me tell you a little bit more about AG1 right now. Here we go. AG1. You guys know I love AG1. I've been talking about AG1 forever, and now you guys have been talking about AG1. Athletic Greens, man, they are the best. They're the best. I love them, and they've been with us for so long now, and it's because you guys keep getting them. And I keep getting more and more people saying how much you love them, and now it's just a part of your daily routine the same way it's part of my daily routine. I put it in a water bottle every morning. I shake it up. I'm good to go. It's the best. And since I've been taking it, I'm sure since you've been taking it, you feel healthier. You feel better. You get that energy. Why take a bunch of different things when you can just mix 1 scoop of powder in water once a day? That's it. AG1 was designed with ease in mind so you can live healthier and better without having to complicate your routine. I love it. I mean, I've been doing it for, if you've been listening to this show, I don't think that you have not heard me talk about it. You probably know about them because I've been telling you about them. So good. The best. It's delivered to me every month and very easy to make it a daily habit. And I get the single serving AG1 travel packs also, just in case I'm out on the road. I never have to miss a day. It's the best. If you want to take ownership of your health, try AG1. Get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. But you have to go to drinkag1.com/bigthing. That's drinkag1.com/bigthing. Check it out and tell me about it. All right. Thank you once again to our sponsors, AG1 Athletic Greens. You guys know I've been talking about them forever. It's the reason why they're on the show. And as I've told you guys, I got a couple messages going, hey, you guys, I listen to you all the time. I want you guys to be the #1 show in this space. How do I do it? What can I do? When you get one of these sponsors, if it's something that you can afford or something that you want to do and something you want to try and you want to help the show out, get it. Use that code AG1. It's pinned as the top comment if you want to get the link. All right. So let me start with this. Did you see this story a few weeks back about the Vegas sighting?
Yes. So I'll tell you what I know, and then I'll let you fill in the gaps. So there was a sighting in Las Vegas, Nevada, where all credible alien sightings happen.
Right.
And this was interesting because it wasn't some drunk bachelor party with a cell phone. This was police officers at some sort of junction doing their job, and the body cam footage of one of them caught in the background something like falling, and it looked a lot like when you freeze frame like a Cloverfield or something, like, oh, it's a fun little Easter egg that they put in there. You can see something coming from the sky. And then around that time, there was a call from residents in Las Vegas that something had crash landed in their backyard. And like there might have even been aliens like crawling out of a spaceship, extraterrestrials. So that's what I know. I know that the cops came there to investigate, and they're like, hey, we usually wouldn't do this, but we did see the body cam footage, so let's get in there. That's what I know, and I will defer to the gentleman from Florida.
So as far as that goes, as far as that particular circumstance goes, which is just going to open up the whole can of worms of everything that I've been watching the last couple of days, this is pretty accurate for what you said. There was like a lot of the neighborhood itself said that they saw something kind of hovering above, and they saw these things, and that was the initial report. And then there was this one family that said they actually saw like a kind of gangly being in their backyard. Then they told the cop that. The cop goes, I'm not going to lie to you guys. My partner saw something also.
That's the only reason we're here.
That's right.
Right.
And then he's like, because he's like, it's one of those things.
We're cops, not Space Force.
No. So when that came out, and that's a kind of a familiar thing. Like you hear it here and there, but it's like still widely UFOs have been reported on recently over the last, I'd say, 5 or 6 years, more so in the mainstream.
Thanks to these.
No, more so than just that. And this is what this documentary kind of goes into.
Okay.
So 6 years, if you notice, you're hearing a lot more about it. Now, I think when you do that, the technology and the footage of it all is accurate,
and
right?
the outlets to report something.
Well, right, but that's
are
where,
bountiful.
So that's where it came. So that's where this comes from, because there's tons of outlets in that UFOs have always been kind of taboo, right? As far as meaning, if you report on it, you're probably they think you're Randy Quaid.
Back in these like when Fire in the Sky, the events happen,
right? Everyone
it's like these
nuts.
Loggers are crazy.
They think you're nuts, and then that's usually where it comes down to the taboo stuff about, oh yeah, of course Cletus saw an alien. Of course he did.
You're either
He's
a
fucked
nutcase
up on moonshine,
or you're faking it for attention.
Right. So and there's no way I'm going to get all the doctor names and reporter names and all that stuff too. The name of the documentary that I will say that I sent to both Ellis and Riley.
Yeah, if you had to write down the name of the documentary, I doubt.
Yeah, it's called, but it's on Disney Plus right now. But it's UFOs Investigating the Unknown.
Cool.
So I went and I looked and I watched. I'm like, let me check out part 1 because I've seen these, like, the ancient
aliens
and all that, and the theory behind it. But this
remember sightings from the 90s?
But listen, so this is about the reporter that there was this one particular guy who was working for the government, and he was asked to be part of this program by a senator.
Okay.
He was asked to be part of this program that investigated all of it because there was investigations and there was a project. There was a government. What's it called? A wing that was called Project Blue Book.
Right.
And that was like in the 40s or 50s, whatever, and it ran until 1969.
Mm-hmm.
And during the time, there's all the reports that kind of came in and all this. And there was one guy, Dr. Heinrich or something. He was a skeptic when he started, and by the end of it, he was saying, "We need to investigate this more. These are legitimate." He left. Once he left, he started talking to everyone, and he was even an advisor on Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
As he should have been.
As he should have been.
Yeah, because there were reports in Project Blue Book about like Air Force pilots and like credible things, like seeing stuff on radar and like making weird jumps, or even like there's been a couple like I'm flying a plane and I saw something not with my own eyes and it moved in a way that I've never seen a craft from Earth go.
That shit is all over this doc, and it's not just a couple times. It happens all of the time. And there was one, the commercial pilots have seen it, have seen these things, all these different things. But the thing was that what kept happening is, for the longest time, the government from until 1969, after 1969 Project Blue Book shut down, the government was then saying, anytime this is kind of brought up, kind of pushes to the side. There were sightings. There was a sighting in Arizona. There was one in Texas that was huge, and all these different people saw it, and an ex-pilot saw it, and it wasn't just like 2 people. It's like a bunch of people saw it. There's one in Hudson, New York, that tons of people saw.
Right.
And then the biggest one, did you hear about the one that happened? This is like 2000, it might have been 2007, or I don't remember the date, but within the last 15, 16 years, the one at Chicago O'Hare?
No. I heard about the Phoenix, Arizona one. Was the biggest one that I had heard of, where it's like a lot of people saw this thing.
Yeah, and what happened with that one was that I think the governor of Arizona at the time made a mockery of it because he said he was going to take it serious, and he made a mockery of it, and he had like an alien come out at the press conference and it shot everybody down. But recently there was a guy, they did an interview with him, and he's like, I actually saw it myself. And it was, if I was going to go back in time, I would have done that whole thing.
I think I've seen an interview with that guy that he did regret that stunt.
He regretted that stunt. But Chicago O'Hare is fucking crazy that you don't know about it.
Solid airport.
Everyone should know about this story.
Okay.
So Chicago O'Hare, it's daytime. The grounds crew is working on stuff, and then you hear the audio from it, and they're like, there's something hovering in the air. It is a disc. And they're like, and this one woman's like, I think it's a UFO. She's like laughing. The guy's like, shut the fuck up. She's like, I'm telling you. And then the guy who's on the ground goes, this thing just shot up into the air and poked a hole into the cloud. Right?
Cool.
So then they had someone call the FAA, and the FAA denies it. Said, we didn't get a report on that. They retract that statement. And then they come out and they say, well, you know what we did is I forget what excuse number 1 was, and then I was debunked. And they said, well, excuse number 2 was the hole in the cloud, because they had pictures of it. The hole in the cloud was actually, it's something called the hole, I can't remember what it was called, but it was like a weather phenomenon.
Yeah. They try to bore you to death. Like, the cumulonimbus cloud, it's like...
so this reporter follows up with these weather experts. They go, that is possible if the weather was under, 2 degrees. It had to be under 2 degrees, like -2. Mm-hmm. It was 50 degrees that day.
Okay.
Debunked. So all that stuff, they saw something. And then, but the whole point of this story is in the first episode, this guy that was part of this program that was asked by a senator to be part of it, he, the guy, he was working there, and then he was basically doing the same thing that this Heinrich guy did, is he was trying to tell people, listen, we got to do this investigation, and they wouldn't follow up on these things. So, or at least they weren't telling him or giving him information. There's other people. So he was like, in all good conscience, for what I'm doing for national security, I can no longer do this. And he wanted to do, because they weren't giving him all the steps, so he went to do his own thing. And he went and he talked to these reporters. This woman, she was talking to him, and then got all this information. This one reporter who's been chasing UFOs forever, she goes to the New York Times. And she's like, the New York Times wants a report on it. And if the New York Times, because they got footage from these Air Force pilots, the ones that we saw in 2018, where they have this act. This is where, and it came from this dude who worked in the program. He had this footage.
This isn't Bob Lazar?
No,
right?
Bob Lazar is a different thing, which we'll talk about in a second as well too. So this guy then, gives this footage to the woman, to the reporter. She gives it to New York Times. Now this woman who's working goes, okay, so the guy who approved all of this is the key to this. If this senator,
the guy who approved
the program,
right.
If this guy, he's not going to admit to this. He's going to deny it, and our story's dead. Guy admits to all of it.
To the New York Times?
Admits to all of it.
And this is New York Times. This isn't like, some random local news, but this is who researches their stories to exhaustion before they run it.
It was the most viewed video they had ever put on a story. Was the video of the pilots seeing the thing moving around. And
is that why the New York Times shut down their sports program? They're like, well, let's just focus everything on extraterrestrials.
Maybe, but it's the UFO in general. What is it, right? So there's a lot more inside of this. So and like I said, there's Hudson. There's the one in Japan I'll talk about before I talk about this other thing. The one in Japan is crazy. It's like 1985. This massive Japanese commercial airline is flying through, and the pilot's like, "There's something massive out here, like something massive." And he's like, it's following him. He does this thing around it. It follows with him. It's moving. It's on the radar, and then it just fucking zips off.
And it wasn't Mothra, because I need to point this out, because Godzilla 1985 is a great Godzilla movie where he does take down Tokyo. Yeah. So
listen to this audio, though. I'm telling you, you're gonna watch this thing after we talk about it today, and it's like
I'm watching this tonight.
You have to. And I'm gonna finish up the rest of it. It's between that and Jury Duty right now. I can't get enough. Did you watch Jury Duty?
No, it's
so good.
I see so good. I see people loving it. I'll get around to it eventually. I really need to pace myself with the comedies. I'm getting pretty into Silo right now.
Yeah, I heard that's good.
But I will skip. I will put a pause on Silo to go watch Extraterrestrial.
That's what I put a pause on Jury Duty, and I'm loving Jury Duty.
Yeah,
and I paused.
No, I saw you raving about it on the socials.
And socials. So but anyway, so yeah, the Japanese one is crazy. It's like daunting, right? But basically what happened, because of this New York Times interview or article rather, then it starts to open up a little bit more. People start taking it serious, because how are you going to start to deny that footage? And now there's so much footage and so many things that have just been kind of swept under the rug. Now, this morning, this morning it goes into the Bob Lazar thing. Bob Lazar was a guy who apparently worked close to Area 51.
Yeah, he was in one of those like top secret programs, and now he's kind of doing his own thing and spilling some beans.
Spilled a lot of beans.
And the problem I have with a lot of these people, and maybe this is where the course correction finally happens with this thing you watched, is like, even if they sound credible and they worked in the military forever, there's some story that comes out about like, oh yeah, but one time they peed in the peanut butter, and it's like they're crazy. Like they did something that's like, oh, wait, you were dishonorably discharged.
One or two people, I get it, but when you start to see how many people saw these things and how, look,
it's the eyewitness reports more than anything to get me.
Now the Bob Lazar thing is a different thing. Bob Lazar pretty much said saw make it very clear the UFO special isn't necessarily. They're definitely hinting that it's otherworldly. But they're just saying that there's
unidentified.
They're just saying there's something technology-wise that is a national security threat, because or space threat, or air threat.
Yeah.
Because even if you don't know what the hell it is, and planes can fly into them, or it's something damaging in the atmosphere, why aren't we investigating?
Right. It's invading airspace.
That's more so the main thing of what it's about. Is it needs to be investigated, right? Of course, with the things don't move like that. And why does it zip at that point? And you see the various reports of the triangle thing with shots. There's one from the clearest shot that they have. I think it was from somewhere in the 40s, and it's this guy took an actual picture of it, and it's just floating there. And
with a camera from the 1940s.
Yeah, it ain't doctored. This is an actual
smile.
Yeah, it's an actual shot. It's not doctored. It's official footage, whatever it might be.
Right.
It's not. This is in the 40s, it could be the 50s, but it's in that general area.
From Henry Jones Jr.'s camera?
Maybe. But anyway, the point of it all is that it's the Bob Lazar of it is that he says that
didn't he say he saw bodies?
That's another guy, Bob Lazar. But that the guy who saw the bodies is even more fascinating than Lazar. But this guy, Bob Lazar, worked in this program where he saw the actual technology of it and saw the crafts. He said there were a ton of it, I think 9 to 11.
Yeah, he like looked into a room and he did because
he went into the ship.
Yeah, but he also saw. I think he said that he didn't want to confirm it, but I think he was the guy who was like in Area 51 and he was walking by a room that maybe he didn't have clearance, but he like looked in there and he just like kind of peered his head in and he saw bodies.
I don't think that was him.
Okay, somebody did that.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So there's another guy. Then this guy who said not only were bodies recovered, there were crafts recovered, and this was for people who were right. Sure, it did. This was so formidable. This was such a they believed this guy so much. You know, he was such a I'm saying formidable, but that's not the word.
Well respected.
Yes, thank you. My head's fried. But he very well respected pilot that they took so serious, so much so that Rubio, Chuck Schumer, none of these fuckers are ever on the same page.
Right.
There is a hearing that's going to happen over the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
Because of Congress, because of this guy, and because of the footage that they have, that they are insisting that they make an amendment to the rule of declassifying these things and putting all this footage from like the 1940s out to the public.
Right.
So like this is all stuff that could potentially come out. It's like it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean it's a scary thing when you start talking about everybody knowing everything, you know? And I think that sometimes there are government agents that mean well where they're like, we can't let this get, because I mean, even like there's some times when it's like, we can't even let the president see this, you know? But then there also
Carter,
is...
Jimmy Carter had he saw something and then wanted to declassify stuff when he was president, and he was shot down.
The Men in Black visited him?
The president was shot down. Sorry, go ahead.
No, but I mean, and so it's like there really are two sides of the coin. It's an argument that I think both sides have a point to make, where it's like there's going to be such a national hysteria if we declassify this potentially based on what the actual footage shows versus do we keep it secret and keep this from people? Because if it is a national emergency, you can only keep it from people for so long before you start actually having to prepare some sort of defense. You know, if it is in fact coming from outer space, because I'm always of the mind that, of course, I believe in UFOs. Of course, I think that there's identified flying objects all the time. I just have never trusted any government on Earth to be able to handle it if it is from outer space. But also, I don't trust them to just not build stuff to be testing weapons and then say it was. I don't think that if you and I are like running the United States government, right, the defense, and we're like defense contractors, I don't put it past us to build a craft, fly it, that moves in a way that no craft has ever been able to fly before, and then if the public thinks it's from outer space, great. Yeah, let them believe that while we're working on our advanced weaponry to fight the next war.
If that was something that happened over the course of the last 5 years, then I would say, yeah, maybe that's the case. This has been happening since the 30s, man.
But we were at war in the 30s, so like a lot of people think
you're just working on this thing in the shadows for like the last like 8 years. The reason, I don't know, the only reason why is because the one in Texas, they saw jets chasing after it and couldn't catch up with it.
That's awesome. I mean, it's scary as hell, but it's also like, whoa.
Like a lot of those different, and like there were pilots. There was a pilot that I heard on Rogan recently, and he was talking about how this was a different guy that he never saw any aliens or anything to do, but every time that he went up, they would see this thing, and it would just zip past, and it was like, they were part of classified conversation. They didn't hear anything about this shit. It's like there's levels of classification and all that too. But like this is when you hear all the different ones, plus all these different countries. And the United States is one of the only countries that keeps all this stuff declassified or classified.
Right.
The other ones are declassified. There's a lot of them. They're very open with their citizens about what they saw, these things, and it's just too much of a coincidence that the United States is zipping these things around for 70 years around all the world, and I don't know.
I mean, that's really scary that we're the ones that classify it, probably because it's not ours. Right. So we're like, what? We don't know where it's coming from, but it ain't ours, and we can't fight it. We can't. That's really scary.
That's what I mean.
But like, you go back to the 30s and 40s, right? And you have like this great picture and all this cool stuff. Some of the prevailing logic is that is some sort of foreign craft. And the reason why, if you recover a body and it looks like it's not of this earth, is because of either they died in the craft because the craft wasn't like, it was the Titanic sub that like it just wasn't fit, or there's radiation around that warped the bodies. Like I've heard that one too.
Sure.
So again, like you think about like these people, and they were kind of humanoid and they looked little. I don't know if radiation can do that to a human body. It does seem like it's such an overflow of events and information and reports and sightings and all this stuff that it's hard to dismiss all of it as governments fighting governments and like top secret
it's
things.
Not the space race. It's not the space race.
It ain't the space race. No. And we knew that it was a matter of time because we all laughed at Trump when he announced Space Force one morning to get to distract from whatever issue he was having. It's only a matter of time before you actually do need a Space Force with all these sightings and stuff. And I'm one of these people that firmly believes. I'm not going to say there's definitely life on other planets because I don't know. I've never met one. I definitely believe that there's probably many life forms on many other planets.
I am, after all the stuff that I've been watching over the last couple of days, I don't care if people call them nuts or not, I am fully convinced that things have crashed here. I'm fully convinced that they have found things. I'm fully convinced.
Ancient aliens, man.
More so. This is the thing. The majority of the reports start coming out in like the 30s and the 40s and the 50s. When did air travel really start with?
Right around then.
Like constant.
Yeah.
Like, not just the Wright brothers taking stuff up, but like constant started right around then. These fuckers could have been around forever, but we just started getting more reports of it.
And helped us build stuff.
Yeah, because people were
helped
flying
humans.
around. Yeah, and like they were coming reports. Who knows? And the thing that people are, well, it's a matter of if they're able to, if you believe all the stuff Bob Lazar says, right? Stuff that he found was like gravity, like the thing that could condense gravity and change gravity, and like he would go to touch the thing and he couldn't touch it, right? Because it would push back on the type of technology that was there. It would like defy gravity. A lot of the reports, not just Lazar, was what Lazar said, what this technology was able to do for this particular ship. The pilot that I was talking about that was on Rogan, and all these other pilots that were in this doc all say the same thing. The fucking thing can just stop. Doesn't matter how big it was. It could just stop with no sound and then take off at a crazy amount of speed. All of the reports. And again, watch this documentary because you're going to go, this could be anything. Watch the doc and see if you feel the same after, like, because it's like they talk about how it zips around. It was like it's fascinating, and I'm telling you, the Chuck Schumer thing though, and Rubio being on the same page, and like talking about how they need to declassify all this stuff, and there's a hearing about it in like the next couple of weeks. If they do this, and if I don't think this is going to happen, but if they did, and then they started actually putting these photos, and imagine the biggest story ever is that they actually start putting out photos of these things, like actual things that have, and it is going to change this country, this world significantly, because it's going to start people asking questions about, well, what I thought really happened inside of the world and the way that God and this and that, it's going to change people's
It would be like when Batman realized there were other superheroes out there that were related to Zeus.
Right.
You know? Because like that's like I used to do a bit about it. It was like Batman was just walking around defeating characters like the Penguin and the Riddler. Well done, Bruce. But then you meet Diana, who's from this mythical land, who is literally related to Greek gods. You got another guy who's an alien who's flying around who can beat you at everything. You have a guy who apparently is a fish king. You like have the Flash. It's like, dude, I thought I was a superhero.
Right.
You're not anymore.
Right.
You're lucky to be in the Justice League at this point.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what it would do. And I think that's one of the things that I think does scare the government as well too. Whether it's a mass panic, whether it is a change in like in beliefs.
It's when I hear some like top secret guy like who's like the head of Area 51 on the phone to the New York Times like the night before the story comes out. It's like, can we just align on the messaging? Like we know it's coming out. We just don't want to cause and we don't want thousands of people to drive to Area 51 to like camp out and like yell at us and like protest and stuff. Like the one thing you hope, if there is an extraterrestrial event, whether they're friendly or not, you hope that it unites everybody, the people of Earth. Recent events point to us not being able to agree on a lot of stuff. Maybe the one thing we can agree on is just realizing this is our home, and maybe it's going to take somebody. Maybe it's going to take a botanist named E.T. to come here and be like, "No, guys, climate change is definitely real. It's definitely happening. You guys need to stop right
people
now."
On the same page.
Yeah, because look, guys, I'll be honest. We were coming here to take all your natural resources and to starve you to death,
and we have been for years.
And now we feel bad about it.
Right. Well,
because you're doing it to yourself faster than we could.
Well, this is a report that came out today. And it's all over the place. This isn't just one site, but a UFO expert claims that a crashed craft had a building put over it because it was too big to move. Author Ross Coulthart making an absolute shocking claim about a UFO hidden in public.
Love it.
Coulthart is an established journalist in Australia and wrote the book In Plain Sight about UFOs. He's not some random guy running around the internet. That's what makes his recent claim so unbelievably shocking. There's a crashed UFO spaceship so big that it couldn't be moved and a structure had to be built over it. What if some of that shit is so big it can't be moved? Coulthart asked in a video on the Project Unity YouTube channel when talking about UFO revelations. When pushed for details, Coulthart appeared to imply that a spacecraft is so large it had to be too large to move. It had to have a building put over it. He said, "It is so big that a building put over it in a country outside of the United States of America." I know it sounds preposterous, and you can just hear them now, the bleeding debunkers. Let's see this investigated. Let's see what happens. Let's test these allegations before the Congress.
Does he say where it is? No, he says he knows where it is.
He does not say where it is, but some of these objects are not capable of being moved because they're too big. I know exactly where it is, the author claimed when talking about the object that is apparently in plain sight. So they do say treat this claim with extreme skepticism. As mentioned, Ross Coulthart has a storied career as a journalist and an author. The man is not your average Reddit user. Not at all. However, there should be some red flags about the claim. There's one that sticks out the most and must be addressed. Coulthart claims he knows where the UFO is hidden, but then he doesn't elaborate. He claims to know the specific location of a UFO under a building. This is the biggest news story this is the biggest news story in the world, if it is true. Yet he doesn't offer details other to say it's outside of the U.S. If you're going to claim to know the location, you should say where it is and yada yada yada.
Yeah, that's why every one of these things is so frustrating. Is that they tease you with that carrot forever.
Are you looking to motivate your staff?
I am actually, and you think about every one of these documentaries I've seen, and I haven't seen the one that was my homework. Sorry, but I've never seen one to completion. It's like, it's probably like me pleasing a woman. I've gotten you close, but I've never brought you the full month. I've never gotten past that point.
Right.
And at some point, we need an orgasm here. We need an explosion of information.
You don't think that's this footage with the pilot says?
I need to see something.
You need an actual ship.
No, the footage is one thing. Yeah. I can see footage, and I can talk to my pilot friend and be like, yeah, and he's like, yeah, I've never seen that before, right?
That's
if
something
you
else.
come to me and you say, as a journalist or as just my friend, and you say, hey, man, there was a craft, and they had to build a building around it. I'm like,
where is it?
Your car or mine?
Right.
Are we flying there? Are we driving?
Right. Don't just try to sell your book.
Yeah, because it's the same thing with I think a lot of these experts are like, they say, I can't talk about it any more than I already am because it's classified.
Right.
And it's like, well, you've just given me a bunch of nuggets.
Well, it's true. Well,
but you're just not going to give me the dipping sauce? You have to give me the...
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. This is the report I was telling you guys with Schumer and Rubio. Senators to offer amendment to require government to make UFO records public. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is part of a bipartisan group of senators who have offered an amendment to the annual defense authorization bill requiring the federal government to collect and make public records related to unidentified anomalous phenomena. They've changed, they don't call it UFOs anymore, UAPs. The proposed amendment to the National Defense Authorization Act would direct the National Archives and Records Administration to create a collection of records on UAPs and UFOs to be disclosed to the public immediately unless a review board provides reasons to keep them classified. For decades, many Americans have been fascinated by objects mysterious and unexplained, and it's long past that they get some answers, Schumer said in a statement. The public has a right to learn about the technologies of unknown origins, non-human intelligence, and unexplained phenomena. Non-human intelligence, by the way. That's the one because of this guy that came out to say that about the bodies being recovered. We are not only working to declassify what the government has previously learned about these phenomena, but to create a pipeline for future research to be made public. Schumer said that he is carrying out the legacy of former Senate Majority Harry Reid. That's the guy that approved the project. With more than a decade ago, pushed forward the Pentagon's secret advised aerospace threat identification program.
And does it just happen to be coincidence? Because Reid was a representative from Vegas, right?
I think so.
Or from Nevada.
He was Nevada,
so,
I think.
Yeah.
So I mean,
he might have lived in Reno.
Just all I'm going to say to people as I read it, just look it up. I mean, you just type in UFO and all these stories are popping up. Right
well,
now.
the thing that's scary about the government getting together to declassify this stuff is that now they can roll out that information whenever it's convenient. Like I was joking about Trump with Space Force, where it's like there's a scandal, let's introduce Space Force. Anything that happens that is really scary and is more of an imminent threat, you just dangle that. Hey guys, look at these sexy alien pics we got. We're all going to click on it, and it's like, what's the information that we're missing? So whenever those documents become declassified, enjoy them, slurp them up, but just look at other news stories going on that day, because I don't trust the government to not just
of course they're gonna
put the wool over our eyes and say, don't look at what's in this hand, look at the alien. It's a magic trick.
It is, but it might be a real magic trick
until a laser comes from the sky and blows up a building in downtown Los Angeles. Not that I'm trying to give any of you lovely extraterrestrials. I agree with you on a lot of issues. I'm not trying to give you ideas. We like to beat each other up from time to time, but it's like I can talk shit about my sister, okay?
Sure.
You can't. So us humans, we're going to get into fracases from time to time. We're really a good people, all right? We mean well.
But this is what I'm saying, though. If it is for the fact that, like, the last 60, 70, 80 some odd years that we've been paying attention to this.
That we've been in the sky with them. And then we had the footage we had the ability to capture footage.
If they have the technology, if they have these things that they range in all different sizes and they move at ridiculous speeds,
right?
In like 10 times what a fighter jet does or a stealth bomber does. If they wanted to kill us all, we'd already be dead. Because if they have that type of technology already, in the last already without however long it is, I'm fully. I don't give a shit. If someone's, you're out of your mind. There's no fucking aliens. I am convinced. After all this stuff, especially with the Schumer and the Rubio, like what happens there is they're getting full on pressure. This is a guy, not the guy that we just talked about with the building over the ship, but the other guy who was, a very a highly esteemed pilot,
right,
who's like, no, we have found crashed ships before. We have found bodies before.
Right.
This wasn't some fucking weirdo. This was a guy who was like one of their main guys that they trusted to do a lot of shit with. When that guy comes out and says it, Schumer goes, fuck. Hey, listen, maybe we should declassify this shit now, because now everybody's talking. Everybody's talking.
And when it gets declassified for an organization like the New York Times to run with a story like that, they would need it to be more than here's what we'll tell you. We'll tell you their stuff at Area 51. We won't tell you what it is. It's got to be more than that.
The New York Times didn't run alien stuff. To be
clear.
I'm
saying that they're probably in the process still of gathering information.
More. Sure. The woman that was
like
doing,
the movie She Said, where they had all these reports against Weinstein, but like they wanted to make sure this was an ironclad locked case.
Right.
They wanted to make sure they got quotes from everybody.
There's follow-ups.
And follow-ups upon follow-ups.
Yes.
So they're probably doing the same thing with this. And what you can do is say, here's what's at Area 51. You can stop short of making it a museum. You can don't make it a tourist attraction.
Right.
Still, you probably need more security measures in place around Area 51 once you say some of the stuff that's actually in there. But I need more to go on than body cam footage, than people saying, well, I can't talk about it because it's classified, or I won't tell you because I want to be on more podcasts and I want to be on and I want to get interviewed more. Right. Yeah, I just wrote a book coincidentally.
Right. No,
that's like me saying, hey, I have a special, by the way, and also I saw Bigfoot. Who wants to talk to me?
Right.
My special just came out, and I just saw Bigfoot. Who wants to chat?
But the flip side to that is, if then you and your buddies who had pictures of it, and the Senate was like, give us the pictures, we're going to declassify it, and then there's pictures of actual Bigfoot everywhere, you now are a lot more credible than you were yesterday. And I think, like, imagine you're sitting down and you're like, okay, Schumer and Rubio and all these guys, they declassify it. And here's the thing, guys. You guys wanted to know. We have found bodies. We have found ships. We have found all this shit. And we don't know what the fuck it is. It's a new world we're living in. It is a new world.
Can I tell you why I'm thrilled? You go back to Parents' Day, Mother's Day for a minute. The way that we celebrate Mother's Day on our birthday, because they went through all the hard stuff, right? I think that we need to give our moms a call today and remind them how much we love them. And here's why. It's because you and I, relatively the same age. You got a few weeks on me, but we're relatively the same age. And I think that our moms timed it perfectly, because we're old enough to where once this really becomes an imminent threat, and you combine that with climate change and all this other stuff, we're going to be in the retirement home, and we're going to be watching this stuff. The world's burning. I'm going to have a Coors Light in my hand, and I get to see what's going to happen, but I don't have to live through it. Right? I'm not young enough, but we're still young enough, and we got to keep ourselves in shape so that we can see what does get declassified, what does happen to the future of humanity. So I think that we might have timed our moms and dads might have timed this perfectly.
They timed that perfectly. And look, I'll be honest with you. If it turns out that they did blows this all up, right? I'll tell you what. At least, how'd your buddy?
We had a great run.
That's what I'm saying. How'd your buddy go out? He got hammered and fell off a bridge. How about you? He got blown up by an alien.
Remember when the world ended?
Yeah, he was one of the guys that he was the first few that they got taken up by the mothership.
Yeah, it's only going to be Musk and Bezos left because they're going to take their 9-second rocket up there when they're
probably aliens. Like
That's how they got the technology.
The woman screaming on the plane, going, "That motherfucker's not real." Did you see that? Have you seen this? She said, "That motherfucker's not real." Now that stuff, I don't think I'm there yet. Lizard people and all that shit. But like when it comes to like actual UFOs, hard to deny. It's those people that start talking about the lizard people. That's when you start to discredit the real shit pretty fast.
The more footage I see of certain presidents in the past, I'm like, I mean, I could easily see them just taking their face off at night, like Dan Aykroyd and Nothing But Trouble.
100%. Do you remember that show V? Remember that show V? It was a show in the 80s, and then it got remade in the early 2000s. Marina Baccarin was in it as well, too. And Robert Englund was Freddie. Yeah. But Robert Englund was in the original series. I think he might have been in the remake also. But it was like basically aliens living among us.
Alien Nation, too, was a big one.
Yeah, but they were in plain sight.
Right, but yeah, but they were, so they were hidden.
They were hidden like lizard people type shit. Yeah.
What do you prefer?
Yeah, it depends on the writing, Mark. I prefer good writing.
But that's the thing about these documentaries too, is that they so easily can take a modicum of information and warp it the way they want. Because I think I at least told you about that Sasquatch documentary on Hulu that it's 3 parts, okay? And I'm just going to give you the broad strokes. It's a well done doc. 3 parts. After the first hour of the documentary, part 1. I was convinced. I was ready to call family members, friends, probably called you. I was like, we need to go look for Sasquatch because this thing is real. There might be more of them. Let's go squatch hunt.
Right.
The beginning of episode 2 opens with a story of these drug dealers that were killed by Sasquatch. And they said, no, Sasquatch killed him. Part 2 opens with, there was this guy in the town that his nickname was Sasquatch. And it's like, come on!
Right,
but you can't do that to me.
That's the complete difference of what this is. Because I'm telling you,
I'm gonna watch it.
When you see that, text me immediately.
I have to.
I told Riley because Riley started watching it like last night, and it's like I said, when I went into part 1, I was expecting to see the same kind of stuff that we've seen over the years with the ancient aliens and all that type of stuff, and like the what ifs and what's Roswell and the security. This is different. This is like investigative reporting, like into it with like real footage and real reporting, and the idea of the fact that they're finally starting to get some mainstream coverage of it, because there's gonna be a ton of people listening today and watching this today that are like, this is fucking cuckoo stuff because of the taboo that comes along with it.
It's more credible today.
It's way more credible today.
And the question is it more credible because we have more information,
more footage,
or is it because it's one of the poor movie titles I've ever heard, X-Files, I Want to Believe? Is it like because we just want to believe so bad? And I think you can have a little bit of part A, part B, but why on God's green earth did you tell Riley this? Did you have any idea how much money that poor boy is going to spend on drones now? He's going to be flying an army of them around
all over the place. That's the thing, though, too, is that with drones, there's more footage that's going to come out. I think that's one of the reasons.
It's clear, it's crisp.
I think it's another reason why I think that they're probably pushing for this. Like, look, there's only now with all the tech that's out there now that civilians have. Yeah, it's only a matter of time before I bet you that Vegas story pushed towards it too. I don't think it's a coincidence that they're pushing for this stuff in the Senate now. Like you never in the Senate it was just like aliens. Oh yeah, Obama like I can't tell you about the aliens.
Right.
It's like it now.
The groundswell is too big now because now it's constituents, it's votes that you're talking about.
Right. And everybody, but all these people who were involved in it, pilots, scientists, they're all fucking talking.
And I think that a lot of them who maybe did see something legit that's credible, I think they're tired of being lumped in with the quacks. With like they're like, no, I am a decorated war pilot and I saw this stuff.
That's why if it was some lunatic that came out and said, we found bodies, we found ships. I'm like, yeah, sure you did, Cletus. And it's like, but he didn't. It's like this is like you said, this is a decorated pilot that they were like, shit, if this guy's talking, you got all these other guys talking, all these different people are talking now. And like I said, like Rogan's been covering it forever with all the different pilots.
Oh yeah, he's been into it for
a long time. And so with the reach that he's got, putting the word out there too. I saw this thing when I watched it. I've always been fascinated by it. I've always been fascinated with the multiverse stuff and all that kind of shit. I've always been fascinated with stuff. But like, this is the first thing that I watched that I went, wait a minute.
Okay.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
This is like, I feel like on the cusp of I feel like in my lifetime, I might actually be around. Like,
that's our parents timed it perfectly.
That's what I mean. So like, we might actually be around when they, we crap out. Yeah, my dad was still around when we found out aliens were around.
Last thing I'll say on this is that as comedians do, whenever we're done with an hour material and it's out there in the world, and we start building a new chunk, it always starts with alien stuff. So I have a chunk of alien stuff I'm working on. So if you see me in San Diego later this week, Thursday night of Comic-Con, you don't need a badge. There is an alien chunk. It's brand new, so be nice about it. But that's basically the premise, is like they're coming here, but they haven't attacked us yet. So what exactly are they doing? Right. Like, so the joke would be like, are they here? I don't think I think that they're just here as observers. Like, Earth is like a show that they've enjoyed.
We're like cows to them.
But they know that this is the season finale maybe the series finale of Earth. They're like watching the last season of Earth, and they're like, I don't want to miss this, Like you have spaceships coming down, and it might just be alien dads taking their alien kids to be like, hey, remember when I told you guys about that lumberjack I banged? That's right where it happened. The same way that you would show your kids the tree where the football is.
Right.
My dad used to draw me by his old school just to tell me the story of the day that he threw oranges into the window and got demerits. Like, they might just be showing their kids, hey, yeah, remember Travis Walton? That was me. That was right there.
That was right. Exactly.
Aren't you proud of your old man?
100%. I mean, I'm telling you, man, like I can't wait for you to watch it because I need someone to text about this stuff. Riley started to do this morning. And like and look, now that we got the
he's already going to go off the deep end. He's got too many drones.
But now we got the audience involved. Again, it's called UFOs Investigating the Unknown. It's on Disney Plus, but I also think it's on. It originated
Nat Geo.
Yeah, but I think it originated on Vice. Because it's.
I mean, Vice, good reporting.
Yeah, so that's
wide range of topics
at the end. So I want to get into it with the audience as well too, and then like again, if you're just going to come in and talk because of blind faith and all that stuff too, more power to you. You're allowed to, but if you watch it and you still feel that, I'd rather hear that. Like feel like, okay, well, this is what I saw this footage, I saw these reports. Here's my backup to that, because what I will say too on this thing, they don't just have people on that agree with everything they're saying. They have the scientists who go, there's a few scientists that are like, well, look, I'm here to say that, yeah, we don't necessarily know what this thing is, but we shouldn't just right away say it's alien spacecraft. It could be this, it could be that. They have those people on the show too. It's not just like a pro thing the whole way through. There's no other side of it. But it's very heavily, the majority of what this thing is that it should be in the mainstream, that we clearly know there is stuff out there, as Schumer said it in that report. There's stuff out there. It should be reported on every fucking day. Every day we should hear about, like the same way that we heard about, whatever it might be on the news. Every day when they overdo it, there should be a story every time there is a UFO in the air and there's some kind of report on it. There should be a story about it if it's legit.
And look, as two people who support the WGA and SAG-AFTRA strikes, maybe the way to appeal to studios is this. Look, stop using robots to replace actors and writers, because we need all that robot technology to fight what's coming in the skies, all right? You want our robots making movies? We have extraterrestrials coming here to scope out Earth. That's where we need to aim the robots.
Maybe.
Let them fight with the military. Just in case, and again, I'm not saying the aliens are bad. I hope they're just here to look at plants and eat Reese's Pieces. That's what I know for a fact there's a very popular movie where an alien drinks a beer.
It's true.
And I got plenty of Coors in my fridge.
Paul?
Well, E.T. has
E.T. also.
And it is a Coors original.
Paul's the other one.
Paul does everything. Paul will get you high.
Everything.
Yeah.
Paul, that was a great movie.
It was really fun.
It was good. I have never been more interested in a comment section in my life. I cannot wait to see the comments in there. And I want to see a ton of them, because I can tell you right now, from the thumbnail alone, of people that maybe, they're not talking about Marvel, so I'm not going to click on it. So the people who are watching,
boy, did they miss out.
They missed out.
Boy, did the non-clickers miss this one.
I want a full-on conversation with the comments and likes. And again, please, please, please go ahead and get yourself some of that AG1. That helps tremendously as well. And the other thing that I had mentioned, I think all of last week was Rocket Money. Rocket Money will make sure like it is a full tons. I know that are you familiar with Rocket Money?
Oh yeah.
So Rocket Money used to be Truebill. Rocket Money is basically a way to organize all of your expenses, everything that you have, all your finances. Click of an app, it'll tell you the subscriptions that you have. You can cancel them with the click of the button and tell you your credit score, do all these things. I love it. People have been signing up left and right since we've been talking about it. It's rocketmoney.com/thing. Also in the description. I love it. It save yourself money. Save yourself. Tons of people have already been writing out to me that they signed up. I got a bunch of people here to sign up, and you will not regret it. So once again, sign up to AG1. Sign up to Rocket Money today. Mark, tell them one more time about the special.
Alive and well. Speaking of Rocket Money, how you can look at your finances, I paid for this baby myself. So if you want to support old Mark Ellis, why don't you come on over to YouTube? All things comedy, wonderful producers help me distribute it over there. Bill Burr, Al Madrigal, and now you can watch it wherever you enjoy your streaming stuff. Comment, like, share, all that good stuff. And then this Thursday at Comic-Con, SDCC, I mean, a lot of the studios aren't going to be there. A lot of stuff ain't going to be there. You know who is? Your old pal Mark Ellis and his very funny friends. Thursday, July 20th, 8 p.m. Get your tickets. I believe they're just $10 right now. So go grab them, and you see a lot of funny folks that you're familiar with.
And Mark's also going to be at our show that we're doing with Katie on Saturday night. She'll be Katie's live show. She is still doing a show. There won't be a lot of talk on past projects and those types of things, but we're going to be talking about the podcast. We're going to be talking about the future and about the podcast in general.
Are you going to bring up the alien stuff with her?
I would love to.
Just try it at some point in the conversation if you could, Do
you understand that if I could tomorrow, I would change this whole show
to
be
know
just
you
about
would,
aliens?
But like, don't take Katie's shine away.
I know won't. Just talk about aliens. Of course I
would.
But
I am fascinated I might have to ask her in the green room if I'm privileged enough to be in that green room. I might have to ask her like, hey, what's your take on what our own little podcasting Bob Lazar is talking about?
I'm telling you, I'm not lying when I'm telling you, I cannot wait to see what this comment section is like and how many people are.
I might have to slide in there too.
On board with it.
Yeah.
How many people are going to watch it? How many people are just so like, no fucking chance and not listening to this? I can't wait to hear it. I really can't. But once again, thank you to Mark Ellis. Thank you guys for joining us. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere podcasts are found. You can go to thekristianharloff.com. You can join up today. That'll help out as well. And that's it, man. So, again, this is kind of a very special episode. Thanks for joining us, Mark Ellis. What's that, a shoe? I got hit. Is that an alien shoe? All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Aliens wear size 9.
Bye.